Hello everyone, Johnny Minder here, and today we are continuing to learn Japanese with Pokémon Snap. Last time we have exclusively read, of course translated and explained, what Professor Oak had to say after playing the previous time the second course. We got, by doing so, he gave us also an item, a Pokemon food, also a hint towards what we should do next. And yes, so today we'll replay the second course and so we'll do what Oak suggested. And yeah, without further ado, let's start. We can open the game as usual. We have technically also these options. But I'd say first and foremost, well, we can check at the very least one of it. We have seen also this additional entry gallery. We'll keep that for later, also because I don't know how long it is, but we'll at the very least check one of the options. When we checked these, we've only seen them in general. The one for to set the screen, and yes, so we'll actually check this second one at the very least. This I think will be shorter, not. Yeah, as you can see here, quite a short, slightly longer here. Yeah, we'll at the very least check this very first one. Soundo 7. First and foremost, we have of course soundo, which comes from English sound. Should be accented on the first syllable. And I was wrong. I think we have. I might have actually checked this very one, because then I went back to the previous option when we did this in a previous episode. But yeah, soundo is actually one of those exceptions where the word is actually unaccented in Japanese. So keep it in mind. Maybe because it came to Japanese earlier, who knows? That's I guess that's my guess, considering that it's a relatively common word. But yeah, keep in mind it's an exception, so unaccented. And then again we have a sette. Pretty sure we have seen it also in previews of these options, because actually sette, keep in mind, of course, well, we have the doubling of the consonant with the small tsu, but also ei, most pronounce it as e nowadays, some still a. But yeah, sette is a Chinese compound, so unaccented as expected. Means setting. Well, the original meaning would be establishment, creation, and so also setting of a movie, novel, the scene. by extension, it becomes from setting also options setting. So yeah, it's the Japanese word for setting. You could say option, but better to translate it with setting. And also, funny enough, it's kind of similar, so it's can also help as a mnemonic. Then we have its description. Sound no setteo kirikaimasu. First and foremost, we have again sound. Then we have the possessive particle no. Then we have again sette, so all sound settings, the setting of the sound, literally. Then we have the object particle o, written as wo and pronounced as such in careful speech and also singing. And then, last but not least, we have a compound verb, kirikaimasu, from kirikairu. We might have, I think we have seen it before, potentially here or also elsewhere. First and foremost, we have kiri from kiru, on its own should be accented, if I recall correctly, which means to cut, and also a lot of extended meanings from that. It's a verb, it's a u verb, Godan verb, despite being in iru, so be careful. There are some u verb, Godan verb that look like ru verb, ichidan verbs, but aren't. And yeah, you simply have to keep to know it, or like in this case, since it's further conjugated, you can see it that it comes from that instead of another kiru, for example, which is actually a ru verb, ichidan verb. We have even studied its kanji in a previous series, which means to wear, as in clothes, like shirts and so on, from the top. But yeah, after that, it's a u verb, Godan verb, so we can change the u into it to make the conjugative form. In this case, of course, required to then add the second verb part of the compound. Verb which is kaeru. In this case, actually unaccented, so kaeru. It's not the accented one, which is kaeru. We have seen it also, I think, in this very series for sure. In general, don't remember if also last time. But yeah, that one was to return, to go home. This one, there are several ones of the unaccented ones. The most generic one, to change. This one with its kanji, it's the one to change in the sense of to replace. There are other ones which are more generic, to change, one that is to exchange, and one that is to substitute. So, of course, from to change that person, to substitute that person. So we have our compound. By the way, kirikairu is accented on the other hand, unlike kairu on its own, so be careful. Funny enough, technically in this case, it's accented on the e according to the online dictionary plus plugin combo. because technically it's not strictly a diphthong AE for Japanese. It can be like for Kairu, the other one which I mentioned, to return, to go home. But in this case it's considered not. But yeah, that's not the case for long vowels, the doubling of the consonant, the moral nasal. Yeah, those of course don't have that, can't change like that. Yeah, without further ado, we can check these. Of course, first and foremost, the options themselves. The highlighted one currently is stereo, of course, from English. Also unaccented, okay, interesting. Yeah, stereo sound in this case, or also the stereo player. Yeah, so stereo like in English. Then we have its description. Sando. Sorry, I didn't mention the meaning of Kirikaeru. It's simply to change, as in to convert, to switch over, even better. Yeah, that's most likely I'd say the Kiri, the cat, because you turn something off technically and then change it into something else. We have seen that Kiru, also in its continuative form, so corresponding noun, can mean also and, as in the cutting point, where the point where you cut off. It also can mean to turn off the lights, and yeah, so on. But yeah, that's I didn't mention the translation, but yeah, as you can see, the fundamental meaning is the one of Kairu, and Kiri only further specifies it. And yeah, here we have the description says simply sound no sette o stereo ni shimasu. First and foremost, again, sound no sette, so the setting of sound, then the object particle. Then we have stereo, the particle ni, into, in this case, and then the verb shimasu, from suru, unaccented. It's the verb which means to do. In this case, since it's combined with this ni particle, it means make it into, turn something into, of course, but also goes to become. Similar meanings. You could say also with this ni suru that by extension then it becomes to decide on, to choose. But yeah, most likely even in that sense it comes from the make into. And yeah, in this case we then of course we have to change the suru into its continuative form. Suru is completely irregular, so we simply have to remember that it becomes si. And then we had mas, the auxiliary verb used to make the polite form of verbs. In this case, mas the present, so also future potentially, affirmative. So yeah, it simply means make the setting of the sound into stereo. Yeah, in this case I keep that translation. In other cases it's better to use the translation to choose, even though, as I mentioned, they're related definitely. Then we have the other option, the one currently highlighted, Monoraru. Of course, you might have guessed, it's the opposite. Mono. Mono as in monaural. Monophonic. But yeah, this one is literally monaural. And that's why it becomes in Japanese Monoraru. We check its accent. And interestingly enough, this one is actually accented on the first syllable. Like I'd say like in English, but to be completely honest, I haven't heard pronounced the word monaural before. Because of course nowadays we are used to mono, the abbreviation. Yeah, simply that. Yeah, the description is identical, so yeah. We simply replace the stereo with Monoraru, and we have change the setting of the sound into monaural. And yeah, with that we've checked this option. We could technically continue, but I'd say that at this point we'll continue another time when we don't save due to having to end the stream in the middle of the game with a save state. Yeah, another time we'll go back to these options, but yeah, these are way shorter, as we have seen. Even these are technically somewhat longer, but relatively so. But yeah, they'll be relatively easy. But for now, I'd say we can finally actually start playing the game, and so replay the second course. Okay. Let's go to the course. Okay. And yeah, let's choose the tunnel, of course. Our priority is doing what Ox said. Don't remember if... I think he mentioned throwing the Poke Food. But yeah, you can also, by the way, use it like this. And we can also see what happens when we get against a Pokemon. Yeah, we use the brakes, of course. Too bad. Ooh. Maybe too far, unfortunately. Yeah, like this we can actually get a much better, a much closer photo of that, and also this technically, but yeah. The priority is hitting a certain, too bad, but a certain stationary electrode. We'll see which one in a second. But I'll also try to get one, if not two more Pokemons, while also, of course, taking some more pictures of ones we already have, in case I want also, actually, too bad, and this way I'm losing definitely the second Zubat, but yeah, we'll have to try that elsewhere. Yeah, as you can see now, I got it, the question mark when you photograph that. I wonder, yeah, I can hit them with these. And I think it actually works. Yes, it does. I've heard it. And yeah, as you can see here, there was another hint, but we didn't see it. We'll have to do it anyway later. We have to use the Poke Food on the Magnemites. Yeah, these were the Pokemon I was referring to. Not just the Magnemites, technically, but also by combining them, as you can see here. Okay, let's try to get that. Hopefully I'm in time. Yep, barely in time I think, but I did it. Yeah, that was the electrode Pokemon was referring to. By doing that, exploded, opened that other exit. And yeah, with that, the stage ended. Not that there was much more left anyway. But yeah, so we can start checking, putting the professor marks, of course, as usual. Can get, yeah, this is even better. For example, as you have seen, you can see on the left. I don't think I mentioned it last time, so we quickly check it. It's short anyway. Hakase ni miseta above the older photo on the left. Hakase, as usual, expert, but usually for doctors and so on. As we have seen, technically a professor in our case for doctor, as in also PhD in general, so yeah, professor. It's actually when used as a suffix colloquial, as a reminder, yeah, because we would use formally sensei instead, even though it's more generic. Then the particle ni, tu, and then the verb miseta from miseru. We have seen it several times throughout this very series. Means to show, display, because it comes from miru, which means to see, to look at, to watch. And it's actually an older form of the causative. So literally, to make watch, to make someone watch, look at, see, look at, and so yeah, to show them something. And yeah, so then of course miru is a ruverbicidan verb. Miseru is also a ruverbicidan verb. And so we can drop the ru and add ta to make the ta form, and so the past form of the verb in plain speech. And yeah, without we can now check if we have unfortunately all from behind, but we can get at least a much closer one. Unfortunately, I don't think they matter either way, but we'll try this one. Yeah, I was too late for these. This one actually counted for the electrode, as you can see, Marumine. So yeah, for that we'll actually choose an exploding one like this one. Yeah, horrible ones for the Kakuna, because even the one, some were are counted as the electrode ones, but they weren't good anyway. But yeah, we tried to show this anyway. But of course, I have serious doubts. Let's see. Now we can finally see how the Haunter ones came out. Okay, this one has potential. And yeah, now we have Magnemite. And so first and foremost, we have its Japanese name. Koiru. As you can see on the right. As the Shuyaku. The main role, literally. And yeah, Koiru. Should come from coil. And yeah, as Bulbapedia mentions, because honestly, on its own coil, difficult to guess what it might be referring to. It's of course because of electromagnetic coil. Yeah, so of course electricity involved, and also in this actually also magnetism. So perfect for this Pokemon. Okay, let's choose our. I wonder if I doubt I'll find it in the dictionary, and especially if not in the dictionary, the issue would be okay, no, it's actually present also in the plugin with the accent, and yeah, it's simply accented on the ko as expected on the first syllable, koiru. But yeah, let's choose our picture. Yeah, all too far away because of course I was rushing to get then the electrode. But yeah, let's try like this. And yeah, then we have Magneton, which as you can see, it's simply called in Japanese Rea Koiru. Rea, as you might guess, comes from rare, from English. According to Bulbapedia, because of rare earth magnet. But of course also simply because it means rare in this case. A rare Magnemite technically, because it's a combination of three of them. Yeah, then of course Koiru, Magnemite's Japanese name. Yeah, let's choose one. Too bad. These other ones are all from behind, so really bad. We have to go for this one. Yeah, with that we have chosen all our pictures. I could technically choose something for the album. We could have, well, I'll add actually this additional Pikachu, since we'll remove either this or the other one. So we can also check what happens when we check the album, potentially even during this very episode. And then just by, because it's funny, this electrode, this goes up. Okay, yeah, we can go to the professor. I don't think we'll have anything to check out here. Yeah, yeah, the usual Korewa for this picture. But this one we have already seen. Yeah, bigger. The pose is the same. Same technique.
Yes.
I think we have seen this before. Yeah, I think so. I mentioned also here the ho. I'll at least translate it again. I remember it also because of that Yosh Yosh. We have seen not just once the Yosh, the classical form of Yoi, same Yoi / E, so good. Yosh used as an exclamation, even more so with this doubling. Yosh Yosh means very well, and then of course literally decide the direction of this time. So when it's used ho in comparisons, then yoku, the adverbial form of yosh, of yoi, so well, and then of course toretoru, and so potential form plus te oru, shortened here, contracted, and so has been taken. You have been able to take it well. And then of course the usual so at the end. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have seen it before, so I went slightly faster than usual, just as a reminder. Yeah.
Oshino.
The Oshino. Regrettable. Because of course, but yeah, it's bigger. So yeah, it's still better than last time. Yeah, just in case I didn't explain that writing before, even though I'm pretty sure I did, we still translated it. Yeah, no, this one has no chance. Yeah, really bad. And of course we are keeping the previous one. I'm not sure if, well, I'll check out next time we see a case like that where the new one is worse, and so you have to choose which one to keep. What it says, that I don't remember if we have seen before. This way we have seen. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, better. Perfect. Honestly, you could only do better if you manage to get somehow, I'm not sure if it's possible, also additional electrodes. Yeah, we have Ghost, Hunter. Yeah, better size, literally bigness, worse pose, other. But yeah, but by 10 points is still, but then of course doubled, it's still better, so yeah, nice. This one is new. Yeah, really bad, unfortunately. This one should be better. Yeah, not the best size, considering that the part of the Pokemon is cut. The pose is decent. And yeah, the technique, it's in the center. And so yeah, we got a Subarashi. Yeah, the usual results. And yeah, as you can see here, we have another Jitsuana. So yeah, Professor Oak has something to say to us. And so we'll see what that is. First and foremost is Yao Kairi. We've seen it last time, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this is new for sure, as it's about what we did. First and foremost, we have Toru, the name of our protagonist, then the particle yo. In this case, as you can see also, because it's not at the end of the sentence, it's simply after a name. It's used as a vocative, as in hey Toru, or even simply it could be in if you said in English simply the name of the person at first. Well, for example, here I have an example which says in Japanese koibito yo, which means lover, and in English it's translated as lover, comma, and then the rest of the sentence. Yeah, just to give you an idea of its usage as that. Yeah, when you, as it says also here, when calling out to someone, or also technically when it says when you want to get someone's attention, again after the noun itself would, well, no, in that case I think also at the very start of the sentence on its own. But yeah, some usages of yo. Well, as you have seen, not that different, considering that yo, even as a final sentence particle, can be translated as hey, and because it indicates certainty, emphasis, but also contempt, request, warning. Yeah. Then after that we have kosu, of course. Sorry for the pun. Course, as in what we have just played. Then we have the possessive particle no. Then we have naka. This one, unlike the one we have seen quite often, and definitely last time also in this series, this one is the the actually more common one usually, which means inside, interior, also middle, center, and by extension, of course, also among, within, or during, while. Yeah, naka, still accented on the first syllable. Then we have again another possessive particle to connect these to the following noun, which is wakaremichi, a compound, in this case of a noun. First and foremost, we have wakare, which written with this kanji, because this is definitely the one written with a certain kanji. But there's another one which technically is potentially even more common, wakareru. Most likely they are related considering their meanings, and both are accented, so wakareru. Actually, this one means to branch, to fork, to diverge, and so to separate, to split, to divide. You might recall that we've seen before the verb which it most certainly comes from, wakaru, which now means actually to understand, but that's because something is has become clear. Something becomes clear, becomes known because it's clearly separated. But yeah, the other one, which is worth mentioning because again it's actually more common than this one, wakareru, is the one which means to part, usually of people, to part from, also to be apart from, by extension of course in the sense to separate of a couple, to break up. In the case of a married couple, to divorce, even though there's also a specific term for that, of course. But yeah, to part from, and so on, to be apart from, and so yeah, you can see why they are related despite the different kanji to further distinguish the meanings. But yeah, in this case, both are ruverbits and verbs, so we can change the... we can drop the ru to make the continuative form, wakare, and so the corresponding noun. Technically, you could think to then make the compound. In this case, I'd say no, because that would usually be if you then add another verb. So in this case, the step is continuative form because it's the corresponding noun, wakare. With this kanji, I'm not sure if it's actually used usually, but of course it would mean branching. The other one, of course, wakare, is actually used, and quite often, because it means parting, separation, and so by extension, farewell. By the way, accented on the last syllable, so as per the rule. Yeah, technically, wakare, also the other one with the different kanji, which is the one that interests us, exists as a noun and can be used, even though it's not a common word, as offshoot, branch, fork. But yeah, after that we then have michi, should be unaccented if I recall correctly, which means way. Well, first and foremost, road, path, street, lane, passage, so fundamental meaning road. Of course, also in the sense of route, way. And yeah, is unaccented, as I remembered. So yeah, we have this wakare michi, which by the way is accented on the re. You could say technically just like wakare on its own. Most likely in this case I'd say also because again this is one of the typical spots for the accent in such compounds. We have seen it either on the first syllable of the second part of the second word, part of this compound, or at the end of the first one. And yeah, in this case at the end of the first one. And yeah, wakare michi literally branch road, forked road, simply branch or fork, but literally branch road, forked road, crossroads by extension. Also crossroads figuratively, but yeah, the fundamental meaning is, and the literal one is branch / forked road. Then we have the object particle o. Yes, SKS, sorry if that I've seen your message only now. Yeah, it's again Professor Okido in Japanese, because we have just finished to play one course, and we actually unlocked. We did what he told us last time, and so he had something more to tell us, and yeah, I'm explaining it now. Yeah, but speaking of, last but not least, we have then Mitsketa. Yet another compound. The Mi is from Miru, the continuative form, of course. Then we have Tsukeru. Again, in this case, the usual one, which means to attach, to join, to connect, to add, to append, to affix, to stick, to glue, and so on. The fundamental meanings to attach, to join, and all those extended ones. Also, a lot of extended ones, quite different, but all coming from those fundamental meanings. But yeah, if you... well, in this case, technically, we have seen, because we have seen this compound before, I think. Mitsukeru, technically, attach, apply the seeing, because you find something, you come across even better something. So another meaning of Mitsukeru, to spot. By the way, keep in mind, as usual, the barely of Tsu barely heard if at all, because it's between unvoiced consonants. Mitsukeru, it's a verb, it's done verb, so we can drop the ru and add ta to make again the ta form and the past form in plain speech. Mitsketa. Technically, the accent will be on the tsu, because it's for the ta and te forms are on the third to last syllable. Here I'd say technically better on the fourth to last, so actually the first one, because the U of tsu is barely heard if at all, and for most people, some keep it there, but yeah, for most people then they also move the accent, if possible, even further back, so from third to last, fourth to last. If there's nothing else beyond third to last, then goes closer, so second to last. Yeah, to find. Then we have this na. In this case, let's say simply might be a shorted. More often than not, in that meaning, it would be longer. But yeah, I'd say in this case could be more of a wow. But yeah, either way, the meaning is Toru. You implied found a forked road, a branch road off, literally off the middle of the course. Of course, in English it would be better in the middle of the course, but in Japanese it simply becomes we have that no, because it's actually to connect Kosu no Naka to the Wakaremichi, and it can be done. Technically, could be we could have used the usual particle, which we would have in English also. In Japanese, in this case, would be the most likely, because it's the one used for most verbs, except for those of staying. And yeah, then also that na, most likely a wow. yeah, we have then this. Shirabete mita tokoro. Asoko kara atarashii kousu ni tsunagateru youja. First and foremost, we have shirabete from shiraberu. We check its accent. I think it might be actually unaccented. We have seen it at least once during... No, actually accented, so sorry. But yeah, I think we have seen it once at most during a previous series, not this one, I think. Shiraberu means to examine, look up, to investigate, to check up, and so on. But yeah, the fundamental meaning is to examine, as in to look up, to investigate. I'm specifying it in case you are thinking of exams, but yeah, no, those are unrelated. There are other words for those, and other kanji, of course, when we'll get to those. It's a verb, it's done verb, so we can drop the ru and add te to make the te form. In this case, required because then we had mita from miru again to see. The te miru form literally could mean look, do the action of the main verb, in this case to examine, and look, but look in the sense of look at the result. So the te miru form becomes, has the meaning to try doing the action of the main verb. Of course, then further conjugation, we drop miru, we drop the ru at ta to make the plain form. Sorry, the past form in plain speech. In this case, actually, not on its own, because then after that we had tokoro. As a word on its own, we have already seen it. It means place, spot, scene, site, place, the fundamental meaning. But when used after a verb, it becomes place figuratively. In English, we would say the point to be on the point of with the present form, as I mentioned, also potentially future, and in this case future. I was about to, on the spot, we could say literally, of doing the action, and so about to, on the verge of doing the action of the main verb. In this, like in this case with the past form of the verb, I was just doing, was in the process of doing, better have just done, just finished doing. I was, but I'm not anymore, so I have done, I've just done, I was on the spot, figurative spot. And then technically it can be used also with the teiru form to make, it doesn't particularly add add meaning to the expression, because teiru on its own means a continuing action or state. I can say that if you add tokoro and so this figurative spot of have been doing, usually it's an action, a continuing action, more than a continuing state. Maybe that can be kind of a distinction. I'm pretty sure I haven't seen I've seen it with actual continuing actions, usually the teiru tokoro expressions. So quite an important expression. By the way, tokoro, if I haven't already mentioned it, I don't think so, is unaccented on its own as also in this expression. Then we have Asoko, yet another of the Koso-Ado series. Koko, close to both the speaker and the listener. So, far from the speaker, close to the listener. Far from both. In this case, most likely, in this sense, the literal sense. So and A can also be used for abstract matters, but we won't focus on the difference between those. And then there's also, of course, Do, the interrogative. Koso A usually unaccented, Do accented on the first syllable. In this case, we have Asoko. So by adding ko, but there's also this, it's irregular, it becomes Asoko instead of Ako, if we follow the rule. By adding ko, we make the corresponding place, and so over there. Then we have kara, the particle which means from. Then we have atarashi, an adjective which means new. Pretty sure it's accented, but we check. And we've seen it also before. Accented. Then we have kosu, again, course. Ni. In this case, to, because it's required by the verb, we see it soon enough. Verb which is tsunagatte, then of course also teiru form. But yeah, first and foremost, tsunagaru. We check its accent, but yeah, first and foremost its meaning, which means to be tied together, to be connected to, willing to. There's also this is the intransitive form of the verb, as you can see also here. We don't have an object. The transitive form is tsunageru. And by the way, both unaccented, okay? So, tsunagaru, tsunageru, which means to connect. Also to tie, to fasten. Yeah, the fundamental meaning to connect. And so, in this case, we have the intransitive form. Most likely, again, we have the intransitive in aru, the transitive in eru. The one in aru is most likely an older form, a classical form of the passive form. And yeah, so literally to be connected. Tsunageru, the transitive one, is a ru verb ichidan verb. This one is a u verb kodan verb. So, to make the form, we have to follow the rules. It ends in ru, so it becomes double consonant te. Again, most likely, first the continuative form, tsunagari. Then, of course, we had the te, but then the ifl, tsunagarte, difficult to pronounce, it becomes a doubling of the consonant. Yeah, then after this the form, we had iru to make the continuing action. I'd say in this case better the continuing state is connected. Technically has been connected. After this verb, we have yo. a noun which we have seen so many times. On its own would mean form, style, design, and also after nouns as a suffix. Also after nouns like, similar to, by extension. After verbs, like in this case, would be either way to, method of doing, or, like in this case, appearing, looking. And yeah, so we can translate, then, of course, last but not least, yo is a noun, and so we have the copula, which is ja in this case, because orc, again, is old. And yeah, we can translate, I've just checked, I've just examined it implied. In this case, technically, we could keep Tokoro both as the expression and its fundamental meaning, place. I've just checked the spot implied, that place. From there, it appears, it looks like it has been connected to a new course. And yeah, last but not least, we have this. After this, I think this should be the last thing Ox says for now, or at least should be close, also considering its content. But yeah, Kenkyujo Karamo, Ikeru yo ni shite oita. I will start with this. We have first and foremost that Kenkyujo, which is the lab, the laboratory. Even better, technical research institute, literally research place. By the way, unaccented, unfortunately, shoujo as a suffix is not always regular, but often, and so far I think we have seen only once with this, it's unaccented in this case. Kenkyu on its own, of course, also unaccented because it's a Chinese compound, and most of those are like that. Kenkyu means research, study, investigation. Yeah, fundamental meaning, research. Jo is the suffix, which means place, spot, scene, and so on. Because, look at that, it's well, technically the pronunciation would be sho, then it becomes jo because it's the last part of, it's a suffix. And so the last part of a compound. And even sometimes, even for this, it changes, even though, even for Chinese compounds of this kind, even though not as often as in the case of strictly Japanese ones. But yeah, it's the sho is the Chinese reading of the kanji, which has the strictly Japanese reading Tokoro. So yeah, it's still the same. Yeah, literally research place, and so research institute, research laboratory. Yeah, so then we have kara, from. Then we have the inclusive particle mo, also, even from the lab. Then we have the verb ikeru, which comes simply from iku, the usual verb which means to go. It's a verb, gotten verb, so we can change the u into e and add ru. to make the potential form. So can, go. After that, we have yo, not on its own in this case, because it's actually part of the yo ni with suru, the following verb. And so the meaning is make it so that, more literally, make it in the way that. Yeah, that's why we have yoni and then suru. In this case, further conjugated, we have to make that a form. It's unfortunately completely irregular. It becomes ste, just like shta for the ta form. The form required because then we add the auxiliary verb, in this case oku. On its own as a verb, oku means to put, to place, should be unaccented. We have seen it before. Yeah, unaccented. To put, to place, but used after the te form of a verb. It gets the meanings, of course, from that to put, to place, either to leave something in a certain state, to keep something in a certain state, or to do something in advance, which is most likely our case. Figuratively, you put it there, you do the action, and figuratively put it there so that it's ready for later. It can be useful for later. Oku, in this case, then it's a verb, godan verb. To make that a form, we have to follow the rules. It's in ku, so it becomes ita. Again, because of first the continuative form okita, then the k dropped in this case, and so remained oita. And yes, so the translation is I made it in advance so that you can go there, implied, of course, even from the lab, the research place, literally. Last but not least, he says Sassoku ittemiru no ja. First and foremost, we have Sassoku, an adverb. Technically, potentially an accent. Yes, it's an accent because it's a Chinese compound. Its meaning is at once, immediately, without delay, promptly. That's because actually it uses the two kanji, which mean respectively early, but also fast. And the one used nowadays, and the one which is quick, fast. So yeah, fast, two kanji, which mean fast. You can see why it became then the meaning immediately. Yeah, an adverb. Then we have, of course, its verb. Itte, from iku again. To make it's technically a verb, godan verb, but iku is the only exception when it comes to those. Completely irregular becomes itte. Most likely it says simply because, unlike the oku above, it became ikite, but then the i dropped instead for some reason. So ikte, difficult to pronounce, doubling of the consonant instead. Again, after that we have the te, after this type of form we have miru. So again, to look and see the result, to try going, in this case. Last but not least, we have then no, the nominalizer for verbs. Also can be translated as matter, fact, and so on, just like koto, thing as in matter. And then the copula, in this case ja, because again ok is old, so copula for all characters in fiction. No da, the usual expression, which means literally it is that, as in the explanation is that, the fact is that, and so on. And yes, so the translation is the fact is that you implied, of course, should try to go there, implied, immediately. And yeah, as expected, that was the final part. And yeah, with that, I'd say we can take our usual break this time. Last time I skipped it. Good thing I did, because we wouldn't have finished in time otherwise. But yeah, this time we're taking it. Our usual break of around 5 minutes. And when we are back, I'd say we can actually play the course. Would like to check out also the Pokemon album once, but yeah, I'd say we can play the course instead. Okay, see you in around 5 minutes. And we are back. And yeah, now we can continue the game and yeah, as you can see here, we have unlocked a new course. Of course, before playing it, we have to check its name and its description. As for its name, it's Kazan. Literally, fire mountain. And so, because of that, of course, it means volcano. See, okay. Let's check its accent. Okay, actually, accent on the first syllable, so Kazan. Kazan. But yeah, literally fire mountain. Ka, we have even, I think we've already studied its kanji. It's the Chinese reading of the kanji for fire. The strictly Japanese one is he accented. Zan is the, well, to be precise, san would be becomes voiced because it's technically a compound, even though in this case of two kanji. But yeah, san would be the Chinese reading of the kanji for mountain. The strictly Japanese one is yama. I know for sure I've mentioned yama before. In a previous series, don't remember if this one or for maybe a previous one, but yeah. As for its description, we can see here that it says magma ga, I think bo, even though you can barely, well, maybe better bo. But we'll check also with the dictionary. I think bo could be better in this case. But yeah, magma ga bokko boko shiteite suggoku atsusona tokoro da. First and foremost, we have maguma, of course, from English magma. We check its accent, but hopefully it's the same as in... Yeah, it's on the first syllable as expected. Then we have the subject particle ga. Then we have this, as you might have guessed, onomatopoeia, with even an extra doubling of the consonant, because usually it wouldn't be there. It's added to give even more emphasis, I'd say. But yeah, should be either boko boko, and I think it's actually that, because well, technically, and this is why there was also some confusion, I thought that could be the case, other than, of course, that you can barely tell that it's an Igori here because of the graphics of the N64. But yeah, there's also an alternative as Poco Poco. Technically can have with different meanings. But yeah, this one, Boko Boko, should be accented on the first syllable, like most onomatopoeias, and it is. In this case, would be with a burble. I've actually seen it more often in another meaning, also used actually as a noun, and also then sort of verb by adding suru, also an adjective technically. viciously beating, hitting and kicking repeatedly. Of course, also because of the sound, boko boko, of this hitting and kicking. But yeah, in our case, it's with a bubble, of course, of the magma in our case. And by the way, we also add the verb suru to technically make a verb from it. Even though it isn't mentioned, of course, in the dictionary in this case, but yeah, it doesn't surprise me. We add the verb suru to make to burble, technically. Then, of course, we change suru into its te form, ste, to then add ite, so iru. On its own means to be, as in to exist, of animate things, and so people and animals. But yeah, as the teiru, after the te form, it becomes an auxiliary, again, as already mentioned, a continuing state, either continuing action or continuing state. Technically, in this case, it's a continuing action, but we'll see, of course, also in practice when we translate. Then we have Sugoku, which comes from Sugoi. This one is not strange at all. Often you see it with this doubling of the consonant, for emphasis, of course. Sugoi, accented, is an adjective, which means, well, technically, its literal mean what should be its basic meaning would be terrible, dreadful, but more often than not is used for an intense state, we could say, an intense expression of the opposite kind. Amazing, great, wonderful, honest, and also terrific. Notice that that would be the closest translation technically from terrible. Then you get also terrific, which are related despite their different usage. Yeah, it's a adjective, so like in this case, we can try and drop the I and add ku to make the verb form, and so the adverb in this case simply so. Technically, it could be awfully in this case, considering what it says. But yeah, simply it can become from that awfully simply a very, immensely, without specifying if it's good or bad. And yeah, you'll often hear it because it's quite used. Then we have atsu, from atsui, which means hot. Technically, depending on which kanji you use, it is hot to the touch, which is our case, or hot as in hot weather. Yeah, this case, of course, hot to the touch, hot of something, not the weather. And then we drop the I, it's a adjective, we drop the I to add so, which when added to adjectives, in the case of the adjectives, by dropping the I, in the case of na adjectives, by attaching it directly to the adjective without the na, it means appearing that, seeming that, looking like, or even better, having the appearance of. Because there's a difference so, which technically could mean also appearing, but more in the sense it looks like usually because someone else told us. In this case, it's literally something that looks like, that seems like, that has the appearance of being hot. Sorry, maybe actually considering the following noun, instead of being the one hot to the touch, is actually the one hot weather, considering that the noun after the so, by the way, when we add the so, then it becomes an adjective, regardless of the original adjective. And in this case, we have na to attach it to the following noun, which is tokoro again, so place and so on. And yeah, since it's speaking about a place, yeah, it's actually hot as in weather. Last but not least, we have the copula da, because tokoro is a noun. While in usage you see that the copula can be dropped, yeah, technically you should add it, and it's added here. And yeah, so the translation. The magma bubbles and I'd say maybe even better as in well, technically a simple and, maybe even an and so, even though technically it's a simple and here. It's a place that looks like it's very incredibly hot. And then, last but not least, our protagonist says Nanda ka ase kakisoda na. First and foremost, we have Nandaka, which comes from Nani, the interrogative pronoun, which means what. In this case, abbreviated into Nan. This is quite often, in some cases it's actually straight up required, like in this case it becomes to add then the copula, of course, da again, and then we add the ka. Ka, which is the interrogative particle. In this case, technically, it would be literally it is what some, but it's also added by the ka, as we'll see in a second. Somewhat something, isn't it? But yeah, the ka actually, despite the addition of the copula in between, is most likely, first and foremost, the ka we would add to nani on its own, nani ka, to make somewhat. Again, we have seen that adding ka, the interrogative particle, to these interrogative words adds the meaning some, most likely because of the uncertainty of it. Literally, you could say nani ka, what is it, and so by then taking out of the interrogative, it becomes somewhat. Dare is who, someone. But yeah, somewhat, somehow, so also a little in translation, meaning, of course. And that's the difference with regular nanika, as that's simply something, or simply somehow, as in for some reason. Yeah, this one is somewhat, somehow, as in a little. Then we have asse, which means sweat. Also moisture, condensation, but yeah, the fundamental meaning is sweat. Should be accented on the first syllable, and it is asse. And then we have this kaku, which isn't the one we've seen, for example, for sure, which means to write, also to draw, even though it can be further specified that it's the one which means to scratch on its own. But yeah, when used with asse, it actually means also to perspire. And so in its in the full expression asse o kaku means to perspire, to sweat, literally to perspire, sweat. And yeah, we have that kaku after it, after the asse, without the object in this case, because of course it can be omitted. It's clear from the context, of course. Kaku is a verb, Godan verb, so we can change the u into i to make the continuative form of the verb. And then we add so. So that again is actually the same we've already seen above for adjectives. Yeah, it can be used also with verbs. In the case of verbs, it comes after the continuative form, after the mass stem of a verb. Again, so then it's technically an adjective, and so we should add the copula, and it's here in this case. It's not omitted. Last but not least, we have that na. Again, as in an exclamation. Final sentence particle, but yeah, as an exclamation, clearly. Also, as you can see with the longer vowel, that small a. Yeah, the translation. It looks like it's it looks like I'll perspire sweat, literally, somehow, somewhat. Yeah, actually quite a lot, considering the place we are visiting. It's a literal volcano. But yeah, without further ado, we can actually start this course. And as usual, let's go.
Yes.
And of course, our protagonist says yes. Okay, yeah, I have to be ready because, yeah, as you can see here, we already have a Rapidash. The one was one of the... We want the closest one, clearly. we have a Vulpix there, which we can actually make come closer with this Pokemon food. We can make this Vulpix follow us, and we'll do so. Unfortunately, with all those Pokemon food, I think I might have missed my chance there. Okay. Yeah, you. What you want to do is getting as many Vulpix as close to one another for the extra points, of course. We have a Magmar there. And a Charmander. We want, even though, yeah, to make them go closer to each other, so that Magmar can breathe fire against the Charmander and actually somehow makes it evolve into a Charmeleon. Yeah, too far, unfortunately. There's an egg. We'll quickly hit it. We'll soon enough hit it, but first let's actually use the food here to attract the Charmander, who's actually calling out some friends. Yeah, let's try to attract all the Charmanders here. Can technically take some photos like this. But yeah, then I'd like to get one of these. This one is the best one. But yeah, let's hit the egg now. Egg that, funny enough, contain a Moltres. We wish we could find Pokemon like this. Yeah, again, these Magmas breathing fire, in this case against each other. This on the right, we can't do anything with the Pokemon food, as you can see. And it's not just because I missed them. We have a Charmeleon here. And we'll technically be bad persons, but we'll see that it will be actually fine. We'll hit it with Pokemon food. And so by falling there, it actually evolved into Charizard. Sorry for eating you, but yeah, I wanted to take a picture of the Charizard breathing fire. And yeah, I kept a couple of photos, but yeah, the ending was here anyway. But yeah, I wanted to play this level, this course. Well, first and foremost, because of course, to play one more course in general, but also because now we can check out some more names of the Pokemon. Starting with Rapidash, which is quite easy actually. In Japanese it's called Gyaroppu. Simply gallop in English, from English. Notice as usual the gya for the k and g sounds to replicate the e vowel. It actually becomes kya, gya. Let's actually check if we can find it also the accent of it as a word. But yeah, its meaning is clearly that. I'll still check. Simply says that, of course, on Bulbapedia, as expected. Yeah, let's check the accent. Yeah, it's actually accented on the Gya as expected, so Gyaroppu. Gallop. Okay, let's choose one. I hope I got... yeah, this is somewhat decent, but I know I should get more. Also nice that we can see some Rapidash also in the background. Then we have Vulpix. First and foremost, well, its Japanese name is Rokon. One part is absolutely clear, because it's from Roku. Roku, we have seen it before, or at least I mentioned it. It's the number 6 in Chinese numerals. Roku. Then there's this Kon, which could be, well, most likely the fundamental meaning is from Kon, which is the onomatopoeia for the, well, other meanings as well, but in this case, clearly, the bark of a fox, the yelp cry, should be accented on the first syllable, and it is Kon. Bulbapedia also mentions a potential one, potential other meanings. First and foremost from Conro, which is a Chinese compound, accented on the first syllable, which means cooking stove, burner, gas, electric, of course the original meaning cooking stove, and so on. So yeah, in this case it would be an anagram. Conro becomes Rokon. Quite likely that... and also potentially from Kon, the Chinese reading of the kanji, which means also regret. But in our case, it what interests us is bear a grudge. The grudge, which is related to the Ninetales, to what Ninetales is may do to its foes. Yeah, let's choose a picture, of course, as usual. Okay. Yeah, I think our best bet here is this one, even though it's unfortunately turned, but might work. Then we have, even though we are definitely not choosing this photo, we have Magmar, called in Japanese Booba. Kind of a weird name, isn't it? Yeah, it's most likely as Bulbapedia mentions. The boo part comes from booby, as in a kind of bird, seabird specifically seems, but despite, but yeah, simply a kind of bird. While the ba is even easier to guess in this case. The ba most likely for burn. Of course, Japanese doesn't have the sound and so it becomes the closest one, which is a, often also considering in relation to English accents without the R sounds, and so they usually become long vowels instead. Think about, for example, car, that becomes car. But yeah, doesn't exist, and so it becomes a, and so pa, only an final n missing to make it ban, and so burn. Wonder if I can find it in the dictionary. Well, technically I found it, but not in the meaning. Actually, as in barn, the unit of area. But yeah, most likely the accent would be like in that case on the first syllable. And yeah, with that we can of course choose our picture. Yeah, we want one where it shoots fire, but of course, unfortunately they're quite far. I'll actually, actually shooting fire is more important for our purpose, which is seeing more writings, so I try to choose this one. Let's go back. Well, I choose Charmeleon in a second because it makes more sense to go in order technically for the evolutions. First and foremost, we have Charmander, which is in Japanese called Hitokage, which literally means fire lizard. Notice again that he at the start, which I've already mentioned, fire, strictly Japanese origin. Fire lizard, which I also all the respective accents. He, as already I've already said, it's accented. Tokage, unaccented. Lizard. Yeah, literally fire lizard, so salamander. Unfortunately, I can't find its accent here because I can only find it for a different word, but it's not that clearly. I'll quickly check it in the physical dictionary. Okay, got the physical dictionary. Let's see if we can find it there. Hitokage. Yeah, no, unfortunately there's only the other one because of course it's more common. And so we don't know. But yeah, simply, so in Japanese, Charmander is called salamander with Japanese terms. Let's choose a picture for it. Of course, we want one of these with all the Charmanders. I'll actually try the one, while this is technically better, I'll try one where there's also the food. Let's go back to get to see and choose the picture for Charmeleon, which becomes in Japanese it's simply risado, So yeah, simply from English lizard. This one maybe I can actually find. Let's see. Yeah, no, not there. Maybe on the in the physical dictionary. For the accent, of course, but. Let's see. Za. Yeah, no, unfortunately not even there. But yeah, we can choose our picture, of course. Yeah, this one. Absolutely. Then we have... well, we'll check actually Moltres in a second, because at this point it makes more sense to check out first and foremost Charizard, because it's actually related to, also in the Japanese name, to Charmeleon, Risado, that one. This one simply Risado, we had an at the end. So again, from lizard, and then this don, which is actually a suffix found in dinosaur names, as also mentions Bulbapedia, because it comes from ancient Greek. It's the word for tooth. Odon, usually there, and yeah, in this case shortened to Don. And yeah, that's why we have this name for Charizard. Let's choose a photo. Technically, this one might be better in a sense, but I'm... well, I'll actually try this one. I'm curious. And yeah, last but not least, we'll have to choose a photo for Moltres. Moltres, who in Japanese is simply called Fire. So yeah, simply from English, fire. We'll check the accent. Let's see. By the way, as we have kind of seen this word, I think, before. Well, pretty sure, because it was in Kirby's Adventure. I don't remember if how it was there, even though I don't think with the ya. Because there are several forms for fire in Japanese. Either fa, I, a, and it stops there. Fire with a long vowel, so fire. Or this one with the y, because of the previous I. Fire. And yeah, regardless of that, the accent on... well, I can find it on the form with the short a at the end. It's accented on the fa, of course, just like in English, so most likely also for the other variants. Yeah, literally fire is the Japanese name of Moltres. And yeah, let's choose a picture. Yeah, we want one of these where it opens its wings, and there's also all these parts. Okay. And yeah, with that we have added all the professor, doctor, also in Japanese marks. Of course, Professor Ox. Yeah, just wanted to fully check. We had an album mark for... I wanted it for the Charmander ones. I wanted one of these. I wanted to keep one of them. This one. Yeah, the other ones I'd say we can do without. Okay. And yeah, technically we would now go to the professor. But since we don't have much time left, I'd say we can end it here actually. Of course, we'll start with that next time. Yeah, because I can tell you that we'll get some extra writings there, even though not much. And then of course there's after that, so yeah, no, we don't have time for it now, unfortunately. Yeah, so I'll actually save here with a save state. Perfect. And now I'll do this. But yeah, today we've played, we've replayed the second course. Well, first and foremost, we checked at least some more options, which we had to do it eventually. So yeah, at least one more set of those. The sun ones in this case. And after that we replayed the second course. We did what Ock suggested, and so literally opened the road, the way to the next course. We played that as well after reading, translating and explaining its name and description. Well, what our protagonist says about it. We played it, and yeah, we're now ending it here. So next time should be on Friday, unless plans change. Honestly, it should be fine, relatively fine if it continues like this, just like this time, even with my cold. Yeah, next time we'll continue from there, from the Professor Oak's check, Dr. Okido check in Japanese. And then from there, we'll most likely, I'm pretty sure we'll have him saying something else, and we'll see then from there. Okay. See you next time.